exporting to the EU have expressed concern about the impact of new trade rules since the end of the Brexit transition period last month. Many British-based retailers that distribute goods around Europe fear they will have to pay some tariffs or taxes. Other companies, including seafood exporters and delivery firms, have complained about significant extra paperwork. I'm joined now by Shane Brennan, who's Chief Executive of the Cold Chain Federation, which represents frozen or chilled transport or storage. Shane, thank you for joining us on BBC News today. So tell us more about the issues which are cropping up.
So the reality is, right, today we are now implementing the rule book that was agreed 14 days ago. And there are a whole range of different processes that hauliers, traders, businesses, border officials have to now implement. And we're learning how to do that as we go. And the first week has gone quietly, mainly because the trade flows have been so quiet. New Year's Day, the trade flows were 10% of a normal day, and they built up to about just under 50% by the end of this week. That's not going to carry on forever. We're going to start seeing trade flows increase from the end of next week onwards. And what's coming through as a message from the authorities is we're seeing a lot of those traders that are coming now, we're letting them through, but they're not quite compliant yet. So if they come next week, they're not going to be ready.
Okay, so is the issue understanding the nature of the paperwork, the checks, etc.? Is it to do with people to actually check on all of this, or right across the board are you seeing issues?
It's right across the board. It's not about having one thing ready, it's about having 12 things ready. It's about different pieces, everyone in the different parts of the chain all working together. It's about IT systems working for the first time. All these different moving parts have to work together seamlessly for a vehicle to move through the border at the same sort of pace it was doing so before the end of the Brexit period. It is going to take a number of weeks, months, for this stuff to become seamless. So I'm not saying there'll be massive interruptions from next week, but I hope there won't be. But it is going to get difficult, and it's going to be very, very costly and very, very problematic for some weeks to come. Okay,
so you say trade volumes are relatively low at the moment. Is there some deliberate suppression of trade, do you think, by firms right now because they're concerned about their goods getting caught up in delays?
Absolutely. About 3 months ago, every business that could make the choice said we're not going to trade in the first week of January because of the uncertainties around no deal and everything else. Don't throw in the fact that we're in the middle of a COVID lockdown. Means that this is an artificial trading period right now. So that can't carry on for indefinitely. And by, as I say, within 2 weeks, we would expect those trade flows to start to return to something like normality. And that will coincide with the message from the French authorities and the Irish authorities that they are going to start turning away people that aren't 100% right in their view. And that's going to potentially create a significant potential problem with those two things coming together.
So right now there's a bit of goodwill at play, a little bit of extra patience. You'd presumably like to see that in play for a bit longer to get through this period.
Absolutely, and our plea is to the French authorities and the Irish authorities. Ultimately, they are completely in control of this, and we're in their hands. And our message to them is we can achieve compliance, but we need to work together. We need some pragmatism. We need to work together on the non-compliance and educate people softly as we go for a period of weeks, rather than implementing a kind of harsh lesson of turnbacks within 7 days, because that will create significant shortages for EU and UK consumers.
Okay, Shane, thank you very much. Shane Brennan, Chief Executive of the Cold Chain Federation.